How's it going, everybody? I was doing a video. Well, actually, I was responding to a couple of comments, but I figured why not just make a video to make it a little bit more easier to explain how you would set this up. So, without further ado, first of all, my name is Mark, and if you like the content in the channel, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell for more notifications when I post more videos. So what I want to do is I'm going to talk about people that may own an Allen Heath Console. Whichever model you have. One thing about Allen Heath consoles of this type is they really were more for live performance, but they do have the ability to record your live performances. And because they have the ability to record your live performances, you can also record it in the studio. Because basically, back in the day when bands performed in a live room, they were just being, all that performance that was being caught by the band in the live room, which is it was being recorded through the console onto tape. And so, but they just made the more lavish consoles to do more than just recording. They were also designed to mix and so forth. So these consoles right here are not really designed. You have to either record or mix, or you can kind of do both. It's just a matter of how you would do that. So without further ado, okay, to record your performances, whether you're recording individual tracks one at a time like I usually do, or if you're trying to record a band. Now, on the back of your console, there are direct outs. And there's also a 2-track out, and there's also a matrix out. Matrices on these type of consoles were really designed to send the sound to a different part of the location. For example, let's say the location was a band performing in a concert hall, but they also had people walking through the front door of the reception to give their tickets. Well, the mixing engineer could send a matrix output signal from the console to those speakers in the lobby room or the reception area, so they can actually get that, hear the concert before they got into the main concert area. But that's what the matrices are. But because one thing you have to remember about consoles is that all these channels are inputs here. Where all channels are all inputs, the only thing that's coming out of the console would be the center section or the output section, where you're going to have your buses and your stereo outs and your monitor out and your matrix controls, and that's the output of the console. But these channels do have direct outs to let you record from an individual channel to a recording source as well. Now, if you had an interface like this Antelope, which can do 32 inputs as well as does 32 outputs, then you could actually record directly from your channels into your interface. But if you have a interface, something like that only has, it may be like this interface, the older one, it's only got 2 or 4 inputs, maybe 6 or even 8 inputs total, just like this interface right here. It's only got 2 inputs. Actually, it's got 4. It's got 2 1/4-inch with their combo jacks, but it also has 2 inputs on the back. So, but the 2 inputs on the back are just 1/4-inch only. So you're trying to record into an interface something similar like these, and not like the Antelope, which can do up to 32 inputs. But if you got an interface that can only do 4, then you're going to actually have to use something like the matrix output or the stereo output, 2-track output, to record the source. Or if you were only going to record 2 channels, then you could use the direct out from that channel into your interface. But if you're trying to record a band, let's say you have 8 microphones. Let's say your microphones were on channels 1 through 8 here. You have bass on this channel, guitar, keyboards, vocals, or whatever the case. And maybe a few more instruments and percussions and some more guitars on a couple more channels. You're not going to be able to capture all 20 of those channels into an interface that can only do 4 inputs. So you're going to have to use something like a matrix output. The matrix output for the controls on this one, since this one has 8 groups, what you can do, you can actually, if you record from your channels and you don't want to use the groups, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but you can. You don't have to use your groups. You know, you can bring the groups down. When you send these channels, just gotta make sure that your stereo outputs are selected per channel. You know, so if the stereos are input selected, then it's gonna send it to the stereo faders here. And then so when you're ready to record into your interface, it's going to also, for your matrix output, it's going to send it. These are volume controls for the stereos for the output through the matrix. Now, what I like to do is on matrix 1, since I'm using matrix 1 and 2, I'll select our volume or bring the volume up on 1 on this one, and then volume up on 2 on this one for matrix 2. I don't have both of these up. I just have one because you're basically defeating the purpose. So, but you can do that. Now, I'm going to show you something else too. Once you send your volume levels up from your channels to your stereo output, this is the main output. The red one is the main output from the stereo to receive it to the output of the matrix. So that's why you have these two knobs right here. Once you turn these up, now your console's going to your interface is going to see the signal in your DAW. It's going to see the signal in your DAW. So if you set your DAW up to be able to receive, you set up your interface. You set your interface up to receive whatever type of interface you're using. You set that up. So I'm going to show you, for example, on the matrix output, on the back, okay, on the back, there are some group output XLRs right here. But there are also some matrix outputs right here. I have 2 of the direct, actually 2 TS cables come for the output for the matrix 1 and 2 here, as you can see. Numbers 1 and 2. So this cable is coming out from the output of the matrix, and it's going into my patch bay here. This is the input. That's where these cables are coming from in my patch bay. On the back of the patch bay, is going into the input of my interface. I'm only running an 8-channel input right now. I'm gonna get 2 more, but the reason why I have it like that is because I only record instruments one at a time. So that's the reason why I do that. Now, if I was doing a band, if I was doing a band, what I would do is, if I had an interface like this at this envelope, and I was going to record a band, and I was going to run 24 tracks to record 24 inputs, then I would, instead of me coming out of the output of the matrix, I would run, this is the top row of this console, is the direct outs. So I would have a cable coming out of every single direct output on every single channel that I got here. I would have a direct out going into the input of my interface, and then I would just mix and get my levels properly. I would get the levels proper per channel, and I would get all my levels right, get my EQ set, and then of course if I want to insert patches of gear, I would run inserts either through the patch bay. We use whether I want to use compressors or EQs or whatever, some reverbs or whatever. I would do that as well. But that's how you can that's how you can set your, you know, you can record that way. But that is usually generally. So to sum up the video, just in case, once you get all your channels of whatever you're going to have on each channel, you have to make sure that you select the button selectors to send it. I usually send it to bus channels to get a bus mix. Like I'll send bus 1 and 2 would be my drums, and then maybe 3 and 4 would be my instruments. Maybe 5 and 6 would be my vocals, background and lead vocals, and then I would do 7 and 8 for my effects with all my effect processes here. And then I would get the levels proper. And then I would set my panning per group. I get the panning correct, how I want to set the panning. And then I would also, in the matrix, for the A matrix output, I would get my levels correct. So whatever I got on channel pan left, if I got stuff pan left, I would turn the volume up for all the pan lefts on the matrix 1. And what I got on pan, for everything that's pan right, for something's panned right, I would turn that particular. So if my drums are on 1 and 2, I would bring the levels up in the mix on those groups up to my matrix. And I would still watch my peak levels in the DAW to make sure I'm not peaking. Same thing, vocal. If I got all my instruments, I would bring this one up for instruments, and same thing for bring the levels up in the matrix this way. And you could do it that way as well. You bring these levels up. So you got levels. Then after that, you can check all your levels. And then this is your master level for the matrix, the master level out. You check all your levels. Once you get your levels up, your master level, and you check your DAW. And that's it. Of course, these are the mutes for the matrix. But this would be your outputs to send from your console on the matrix out from your matrix out to your DAW, to your interface, and that from your interface into your DAW, whatever you're using, what kind of DAW you're using. And that's how you would do that. It's, you know, pretty easy once you get all the levels set up in the matrix outfit. And then once you do that, you'll start to see the signal in your DAW. You'll see the signal in your DAW. And once you start to see the signal in your DAW, so I guess I could let me see. I guess I can turn everything on so you can kind of see that. Yeah, I guess I'll turn everything on. So yeah, let's do that right quick. I'm gonna have to yeah, let's do a quick example so you can see the example. Let me set this up right quick, and I'll do a quick example of so you can okay. All right, I'm getting the DAW set up. And yeah, okay. There we go. I'm gonna get the I'm getting Studio One going here. Let me turn on the stuff here. Okay. Okay. We'll get Studio One going. And I'll show you a quick example of what I mean. And once Studio One loads, once it loads, there we go, it's loading. We'll pull up a song and we'll set up a track right quick to show you what I'm talking about. Okay. This firewall, I'm gonna have to turn this firewall because that thing is annoying. Okay. All right. We're gonna mute this. Let's come over here, add a stereo track. Okay. And let's see. I'm going to arm a track. And let's see here. Okay. All right. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn these speakers off so I don't for now. I'll turn it back on in a minute. But okay. Trying to get this out because I probably should have done this, got this preset. But okay. I'm gonna play the track. Okay. Okay. Now, because I got the speakers off because I don't want, but you see I got signal across the board. My LEDs are going. So now, what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for level. That's the level meter that lets me know. I'm gonna go back, hit play. Now it lets me know I have level. I'm looking here. I got the track armed in Studio One. There's level. Now, if I turn these main levels down, if I turn the main levels down on the matrix, if I turn them completely down, you can see that the levels on that track have went away. So let me move that out the way. But when I bring my main matrix output levels back up, and I got all my levels set, I got my levels for my matrix set. As you can see with the meters, I have meter. So now, looking at the levels here, that tells me on the track that I'm going to record from my matrix into a 2 stereo track in the DAW, that lets me know I have level. And that's because the output from the matrix, the output, I'm going to stop this. Okay. That's because the output from the matrix is coming out of the console, like what I showed you, those 2 cables back here, coming from the output of the matrix into the input of my patch bay, which is the input of my antelope interface. And that's how you know, like when you start playing, if I play the track, not only do I see signal coming from there and coming in here, but I see signals on the actual interface. And that's how I know that everything is working and is recording. And that's pretty much, like I said, if I had the speakers on, you would hear, but I have the speakers off on purpose because I'm not trying to, because the song, I'm still working on the song. The song is, we're still working on the song. And of course, I would set up, these channels are my reverbs. So I would naturally, I would naturally set all my reverbs up. I would, get my reverbs going. As you can see, I would do all the levels of my reverbs, make sure all my reverbs are set and all that, because all that would be coming, and I would see these to my groups here. So now, because I have all my sounds come through my groups, you can see my levels got really hot because I got everything not only coming to this 2 stereo output, but I also got it coming through the buses. You can see the signals from the buses because I got drums and vocals and the way I got it set through my buses. And that's got levels coming out of I'm looking at the meters here. And so I'm coming over here and I can see I got a really nice hot signal coming into the DAW. And that's how I know it would record. So that's gonna do it. Like I said, if I had the speakers on, you would hear the music, but like I said, I'm working on the music, so I don't want you to hear the music I'm working on. That's why I turned the speakers off. But that's the concept. Plus, also another thing that you can do if you have something similar like this is if your monitor section, you can listen to your matrix. You can listen to your matrix to see what's being recorded out of your matrix through the matrix monitoring switches here, if your console can do that. And these are the monitor level, but that's how I can do. I can monitor what's coming out of the main speakers. Or I can monitor what's going to my matrix. So I would turn those on, and once I play the track, because I got these on, it'll let me know exactly what I hear through here when I turn these matrices on to monitor what's going to be being recorded. What I hear through here is exactly what's going to be heard in the DAW. So that's going to do it for oh yeah, the reverbs and all that. But so that's going to do it for this section. Just in case you were wondering, how do you set your Allen Heath up to record into your interface? That's pretty much how you would do it. Other than that, thanks for watching. Y'all have a great one.